people to follow you and watch you that got bad intentions and don't want the best for you. You feel me? Looking at your page and see you every day and be like, nah, I want to be him. I want to be the same person you is. So you just gotta watch it. I didn't even have a plan B. I made myself not have a plan B on purpose just so I can fulfill my plan A. So I didn't even create a plan B or even get my mind set up for a plan B because my plan A was gonna work no matter what I did. And I did it. God is good. I'm chill, you know what I'm saying, laid back, but it's time to pop it, you know what I mean? I mean, time to give me my flowers, you know what I mean? I don't want them later on when I ain't here.
God damn it,
you know what I mean? I want them right now, so.
Give me flowers.
All right. This is episode number 56 of the Reverb Experiment Podcast. Rest in peace, Takeoff. We want to give him his flowers. We want to make sure that his legacy, that his life will live on in positivity. Absolutely. There's been a lot of nastiness going on with people posting videos of him bleeding out, dying. That is not how we want to remember him. We want to remember him for the positivity and the things that he's bestowed upon the culture.
Absolutely.
So we are not going to get into that conversation. We are going to let everybody else kind of sort out all the J Prince and street stuff a little bit later. Right now, we want to just stay on a positive path.
Absolutely.
We got Steph.net on the mic.
What's good?
We got G_Focus on the mic. And we got a special show for you guys today. We are going to be talking about relationships, you guys' favorite topic, it seems like.
It always goes up.
Always goes up. We actually went viral because of relationship stuff that we were posting. So we're going to keep it rocking with the relationships because it is cuffing season.
It is.
So we got to talk about some things that, you know, you may need to incorporate in your relationships. So we got a special guest that we're going to introduce to you guys a little bit later that's going to help us with that. But first, I want to thank all the new listeners. I want to thank all the new followers that please stop what you're doing. If you're on YouTube or if you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube, hit subscribe, hit the bell. If you're on Apple, hit follow and hit whatever it says as far as subscribing. Please do that.
Please.
And if you can, if you've loved our content, leave us a review or comment because we want to hear from you and we want to hear what you guys have to think. But today I want to kind of just give you guys a rundown because, you know, we don't beat around the bush around here. So for the start off, we're going to have an interview with Niece Anderson. She's going to talk about her new film, Perspectives, which is very dope. Again, I watched it like 50 times. Me and my girl had a conversation after we watched it. It was a dope experience. You know what I'm saying? It opens up the lines of communication.
Right.
That's what we're trying to do. All right. For the internet wins again, you do not want to stop listening to the podcast. You want to get to that because we're going to talk about Christean and Blueface and they toxic ass relationship. We're going to talk about Petty Drake and his toxicity.
He just toxic all around, whether he in a relationship or not.
Exactly. Then we're going to talk about for the It's a Bop segment, and you definitely want to talk about this. We are going to talk about our first initial views and listens to the Drake and 21 Savage album, Her Loss. And we're also going to talk about the single that Ciara, Summer Walker, and Glorilla dropped, Better Things Remix. And we're going to give our review on that. So you got to listen to the whole podcast all the way through.
And Division album. Don't forget about Division album.
Oh, and a Division album. That snuck under the radar. We're going to talk about Division. R&B. We always talk about R&B is dead, but y'all don't be supporting R&B albums when they drop.
And here on this podcast, we are going to continue to try to keep R&B alive, as you can see. So if you want to hear about R&B, come here. We're going to let you know.
Facts. All right. So without further ado, let me get this up and running so y'all can hear her because she got a lot of good things to say. All right. Now, without further ado, we are going to introduce our special guest, Niece Anderson. Let me give you guys a brief bio. So she started her entertainment career as a songwriter and a poet, in which she wrote for others and was also involved in live entertainment scene. Later on in life, she became more interested in storytelling, writing several short fictional stories. Then in 2020, she launched Niece Anderson Relationship Coaching, which featured informational videos on topics such as codependency and communication in relationships. Now in 2022, she has written and produced her first film, Perspectives, which is the first part of a larger series about the importance of healthy communication in romantic relationships. Man, give her a bar for that. Yes.
That's a bio
yes.
right
yes.
there.
That is a bio. That is a bio. All right. Just make sure you are unmuted, and we're going to get into this interview, girl.
For sure. Thank you so much for that intro.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We had to put some respect on your name. So you are joining us all the way from Ohio, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, from the East Coast.
Yeah, we appreciate you for that.
Shout out to the East Coast, man. It's too cold for me.
Okay, man.
Look,
like I've never.
Go ahead.
I've never been to the East Coast, but I went to Seattle, and the rain and the cold. I was like, I can't go I can't live nowhere where it's cold or it's raining or it's snowing. Like, I can't.
My dad is from the DMV area, and it's a hell no for me. I ain't shoveling no snow. I ain't got no heated floors. Look, if I go outside and there's snow, I'm calling in for work.
If I gotta put chains on my tires,
yeah, it ain't happening.
That mean I don't need to be outside.
We spoiled out here in California.
Very much.
Yeah,
so.
Y'all are spoiled.
But it's all good. It's all good. Well, we appreciate you staying up late with us on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. For y'all that are listening, obviously you guys are going to be listening Monday or Wednesday or whenever you guys listen. But for us, this is Friday. And so for her, she's up at 10:30 o'clock and she's dedicated. She wanted to make sure that she tapped in with you guys. So we want to just thank you again for your time, for your effort, for your energy, because I will say this, when it comes to guests, we are very big on vibes, and just talking via Instagram and via our Zoom call we had, I can tell that you have a very good spirit about you, a very good heart about you. So we love supporting people like that.
I appreciate that. And I love you guys too. And I really, really appreciate the opportunity to be on Reverb Experiment. Like, this is going to be awesome. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, yeah. I can definitely tell this is going to be one of our better interviews. So without further ado, we're going to just go ahead and jump and get on right into it. So the first question that I have is, would you mind just giving all the listeners or the new people that are introducing to you that don't know about you just a little bit more information about who you are and where it is that you come from?
Yeah, so and I have songwriting.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, you're good. It kind of glitched a little bit, but I think that we're good now. I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah. So like you mentioned, I had my stint of songwriting and also producing music. And then I got into relationship coaching because I really have a passion for helping others, so it was only right, for me to actually kind of channel all that into, a film, actually show people what I've been explaining for so many years, you know what I mean? So that's why, I ended up writing this. Yeah.
Okay. I can see that. So for the people that haven't watched it, who will be watching it, and we'll make sure that the link is in the description so that you guys can check it out. Can you give a brief synopsis on the film and what inspired you to write and produce the film?
Okay. So basically the synopsis of the film, a hopeless romantic is planning marriage with his girlfriend, but at the same time, his girlfriend is contemplating breaking up. She sees him as insecure, controlling, and he sees her as someone that can communicate better. So basically in the film, we show you both points of views, and, the film really sets out to answer what is healthy communication, and I mean, it's just a message I've been trying to get out for a while, and I never really seen a film explore it in this way. So, it's a pretty complex situation, but I thought it would be interesting and compelling to create a film about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important, just because a lot of times we talk about the importance of healthy communication, but at the same time, everybody can have a different definition, or healthy communication could look different for everybody. So it could be important to you, but that does not mean that you are on the same page with what that looks like.
Absolutely. I think we expect other people to communicate the way we communicate. And the whole point of communication is to hear, but also to convey your message. So sometimes you got to cater your message to a different audience, and you can't always have it your your definition of what communication looks like.
Exactly.
So,
And a lot of times you'll see people say, like, people feel like the only important thing is their intention of what they said. But it's like, if you really care about somebody and you care about healthy communication, how it's received should matter too. So.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay. So speaking about communication, why was it important for you to create dialogue around interpersonal communication?
Well, communication is important in life, not just with our partners, but everyone we encounter in life. If you want to have happiness and success in your relationships, you got to be able to get on the same page with people, have conversations, communicate, miscommunication can cause so many problems in life, and that can easily be avoided, so for me, it was just an important topic to touch on. And in this film, you can literally watch miscommunication cause problems with this couple. You know what I mean? So it's just important, it's really important.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times when we talk about healthy communication, we usually talk about it in the context of romantic relationships. And I think that's where we can identify the most with miscommunication and things like that. But I find that a lot of times, like friendship, work relationships, it's just as important. And I don't think we realize how like that kind of it's kind of a reflection. Like if you can't communicate on a interpersonal level, just work, all that, how do you think you could do that in a romantic relationship? It's not like communication is not just specific to romantic relationships. Like you need to be able to do this on a general basis. I think we kind of miss that.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes people have amazing communication with coworkers and can collaborate and do all these things at work, but you can't do it at home.
Yeah. I've seen that too. Yeah. I mean, and obviously that can get into even a deeper conversation as far as what does body language look like? What does your tone look like? Because again, it could be the right message, but it can be the wrong tone. And like even in the film, Isaiah, right? I think he's the male character. Like, and I don't want to give it away, but in the disagreements, I can tell in his tone that it was kind of like, don't want to say condescending, but kind of like an angry, like, why, why, like, who's that dude that's in the car? And it's like, there's a better way to communicate that. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you can do it without accusing, you know what I'm saying? And I think when a lot of times when there's communication that breaks down, a lot of times it's really your tone. Or it's really your, how you show up and like your body language. Because it's not really the message, is how are you approaching the conversation. So I'm gonna let Niece kind of elaborate on that a little bit, because I the more I watched it, the more I picked up on little things as I watched it. But think
about how you communicate at work. Like we be at work trying to craft emails right and sound politically correct, and you know what I mean? Like we try to check our tone in emails. I mean, sometimes I'll be very passive aggressive. I cannot lie. Because sometimes when people get on your nerves, you be like, well, how can I say this but not sound? But we take the time to do that.
With our coworkers.
Yeah. We got to take the time to do that at home.
Right.
So.
Yes, so true. I agree.
It's crazy. Like, I don't know. I think my communication style, like at work, I'm much less combative. I cannot lie.
Well, because there's more at stake.
Well, I mean, is it?
We perceive that there's more at stake. We perceive it.
You think so?
It depends on. It really depends on what you value.
Because that's not even what you value. Because you could value being able to take care of your family, and this is how my family eats. So you know what I mean. You're looking at it like that.
That's true.
But I think we need to take a little bit more care for our spouses.
We get too comfortable sometimes in our relationship. They're always going to be there. We can just do whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, like you have to still a person, and you have to give them the same care and compassion you would give anybody. You know what I'm? So yeah.
The same way you have that fear of getting fired or getting written up, keep that same energy at home, so you can move with that same care.
So do you think in being comfortable in your relationships that you take them for granted and feel like you have more freedom to be able to have the breakdowns that we have when it comes to communication?
Yeah, I think it happens a lot. I think it happens so often, and you just gotta be careful of it. You gotta pay attention. You gotta be aware, because it can easily happen where you're taking advantage of what you have.
Taking advantage. That's a good way to put it. Because that person love you. That person's gonna be there. At your job, they will replace you. They will have your job on Indeed before you get out the door. So that's true.
That's true. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So in the characters, I know I touched on Isaiah. Can you kind of which character in that do you identify with the most? Is it Jada or is it Isaiah?
So I'm kind of neutral here. I know exactly where both characters are coming from. I feel like I might have been, one of the characters or both of the characters at certain points in my life. So I think they both can grow in terms of communication as well. But, I think it's just really cool when people watch the film and come to their own opinion on who they think is right. So I kind of leave that choice up to the viewers because some people watch and have really compelling reasons for either side. So, I think that's always fun to see. So I don't want to say it. Yeah.
I think I'm the type of person that I'm always not that devil's advocate type of person, but I always could be like, well, I could kind of see what that person, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like that person because I don't know. I feel like I've been in the position to where I've been the person, like you said, with the right message with the wrong tone. Like you can't lie about that. Like I feel like you have to be honest with yourself. And if you are honest with yourself, it opens your mind to be able to understand different perspectives pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've been in both positions where with Isaiah, I've been in the position where I feel like I'm communicating extremely well and all I'm trying to do is save the relationship. But I've also been in the shoes of Jada, where I'm like, yo, like you tripping, like you doing too much, like you pointing out too many things, and it feels like that you're making a big deal out of something that's not a big deal, where you feel drained. You know what I'm saying? So I've been on both sides of that. So okay, that was a good political answer. That was a good answer. I wanted to pin you down on it, but I understand.
Yeah. Watch the film.
I will say this though, and I wanna admit. I don't think anybody is that because I listened to a couple of the other interviews. One of the things that stood out to me was the girlfriend at the beginning. That was very triggering to me. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Dang.
That's very triggering to me because I've been in relationships where the girlfriend has ruined the relationship or has sown the seed. Girl, you don't need to be doing that. Why are you trying to be all submissive? You ain't even his. You ain't his wife. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Or I got 4 or 5 dudes waiting on me.
Yeah. My thing with that as a friend, I've always, well, not always, I ain't gonna lie. Let me not get the line. But as I've grown, I've tried to be more neutral. And a lot of times, sometimes when friends do that, it's because that person has allowed them or opened up the floor for them to feel comfortable enough saying those types of things. So I feel like in my relationship, my friends ain't finna say nothing like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's a boundary there. And I feel like sometimes people open the door for their friends too much. She not just saying that out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you have not set a boundary at some point to where that's become okay. So. Yeah.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. I don't know if you've ever talked about that like in depth, but just that dynamic between Jada and her friend. Like what was there some intention in that dialogue?
Yeah, Jada and her sister.
Sister, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, listen, I've talked to people who said that I asked them who is wrong, who is right, Jada or Isaiah, and they said the worst person was the sister Destiny.
Oh, see? I told you I wasn't triggered for no reason. I knew I wasn't triggered for no reason.
Look.
she is the third perspective. It's not just Jada and Isaiah. She also has a perspective that, some people, have in life, and I just wanted to represent that and represent how, outside influences can affect, choices we make in life or our thinking pattern, a lot of things, you know what I mean? So
I agree.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you respect that person and you hold them with high esteem. What they say definitely has a major impact on how you perceive things.
Yeah.
And it's sowing it. To me, it's just sowing the seed. Like if you have friends that are sowing seeds of doubt and you continually allow that to happen, then it's going to play out in some shape, form, or fashion.
I think too, you need to know your friends, your sisters, whoever. You need to know them. And I think they need to know themselves. Like even with my friends, even when they have given me advice, they always preface it with, you got to know I got trust issues, or this is why, they always give a reason behind what their opinion is or the advice that they're giving and like what place it's coming from. You know what I mean? They're honest about where it's coming from. And I think that just comes with maturity in a lot of ways because, I be telling people all the time, like, well, I can only speak from this and this is why I think like this. I'm not just trying to give you an opinion and not really being thoughtful or transparent or honest about it.
Right.
And that's the people that really care about you.
Right. I agree. Yeah, you triggered me, man. It was in my feelings after watching that. I was like, oh, here we go again.
This film is very triggering.
That's triggering for a lot of guys.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord. That's another story for another day. Yeah, it's triggering. Okay. So I know we're talking about relationships. So what are your personal thoughts or current thoughts on relationships today, and more specifically, the dynamics between Black men and Black women?
Ooh, so, there's a lot going on right now in the dating scene. Obviously, this film kind of represents a population of couples that, they're not really innately compatible. They see things really different. But I know there's couples out there that, for the most part, are compatible, agree on most things. Then you got the manosphere and the red pill and pink pill, So I think there is a lot going on in the current dating climate, especially the Black dating climate. But I think for those couples that really relationship committed to making one work, one thing we can do is get out of our own way, being more open-minded, recognizing when we're triggered, taking that deep breath, and trying to listen to understand, you know what I mean? So I know there's a lot of stuff going on in dating, but I feel there is hope for Black love,
Absolutely.
I think there are couples out there putting in the work. So, that's just my opinion on everything going on right now,
Yeah,
I agree. And we appreciate you for doing this, because I think there needs to be more content, more positive content or thought-provoking content that opens the door for the conversation to be had. Because there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of, let's just say, there's a lot of negativity when it comes to relationships, and more specifically that we don't have a lot of healthy examples of what Black healthy relationships look like in the media, TV, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is very triggering. It's very traumatic. And it's always, it's always that desensitizing thing where you're seeing these toxic relationships get pushed to the forefront. So we have to have a space where we have conversations about what does healthy communication look like? What does a healthy relationship look like? What are the things that we need to do to be able to get to healthy relationships? Because a lot of times people say, okay, therapy. Okay, but we need to be, open and honest. Not everybody has the sources or the resources to get to therapy. So for those people that are not able to get to a relationship, couple therapy, or to be able to do those things or have those resources, they have to have something that gives them some hope that, hey, I can make it through this. And, just because you have a different style of communication or because you see the world differently doesn't mean that you still can't come to an understanding, because even if you are compatible, you still have to have a intentionality on being on the same page.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because sometimes it's a false sense of compatibility because one person is just agreeing with the other person on everything until they grow up or until they get into their own, and then it's like, hey, I'm tired of agreeing with everything that you want now. There's some things I want, and then that changes the whole dynamic and shift of the relationship.
Or the person is just blindsided, like, because I mean, they have no way of knowing,
right?
You know, so then they end up blindsided. One thing that I will say is, in the current climate, is not just seeing toxic relationships push to the forefront. I think a lot of times we see people just talking about what the problem is and what men are doing wrong, what women are doing wrong, what ain't going right in relationships, and nobody's really talking about the root problems.
Right.
You know what I mean? The communication problems, or, you know, how to get past trust issues, or, you know, how to get past, just, you know what I'm saying? Just like kind of the root issues. We're only talking about the problems.
Right.
And y'all not doing this. Y'all not emotionally available. Y'all not that. Okay, well, what is that? Like, how do you...
What's the solution?
And what's usually the root cause of that?
Right.
So...
Well, and then even like, just... Yeah. That's a deeper... You know, it's deep because I think even the conversations on what are your values? Like, so the clip that went viral for us was, is flirting cheating? And to me, I think it's just common sense. But to a lot of people, some people don't think that flirting is cheating.
What do you think? Do you feel like flirting is cheating?
Personally, yes, I do feel that way. Okay. You know, but I know a lot of people
think differently. Yeah.
Yes.
But again, some
people was in the comments going a little bit far. They was like, if you look at another girl, it's cheating. I was like, oh, you're going a little bit far.
Right.
Like, some people was like, I do believe that flirting is cheating, but I feel like there's levels and y'all taking it to the extremes. But, you know, everybody got their opinion.
But to bring it back to the topic of the movie, is that you have to communicate that. This is what I believe. This is what I think. These are my values. This is what I want. These are what I see. This is what my plan is. This is what I see for my future. Because if those things don't align, you can be attractive. You can have chemistry. All that. That's fine. But when it comes to these deeper issues, you want to be able to be on the same page or be able to at least have a compromise on what it is that you guys both are moving towards with. And I think a lot of times in our relationships, we just look at, do I look good? Am I the IG relationship goal? You know what I mean? Like,
I think, but even further, even deeper than that, it's necessarily like more day-to-day basis stuff. Like, I even talked to a couple where it came up that, you know, she was giving rides home from work to some of their employees. And he was like, no, that's a no. You don't know those, like, you know what I'm saying? That's not something, you know what I'm saying? But that's not something that off the rip that, who discusses that before they get in a relationship? Yeah, exactly. You don't. Like, this is just something that came up within the relationship. But again, you have to be able to communicate through that. And
that's what happened in the film, right? Something happened. And again, I don't want to give it away because I want them to watch it. But, you know, Isaiah didn't like it. Jada didn't think it was a big deal. And then it could have potentially been, which it ended up being a big conflict, but they ended up coming back together. Hopefully, I'm waiting on part 2. I'm waiting on part 2.
Right.
But those,
you have to, how you don't know.
If you don't have healthy communication styles or a way of doing it, those little things can end up being, this is a breakup now.
Exactly. And my thing is, where do you, like you said, one person doesn't think it's that big of a deal and one person does. And for her, it's not that big a deal. But if it's a big deal to you, then cool. It can be simple as that. But some people really stand firm. And if I don't feel like it makes sense, I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
And you can't do that. Not in a relationship. You got to be able to compromise. So,
compromise is a forbidden word in these days.
Yeah, people don't want to do that.
People don't want to compromise. Nope.
This is what they believe. They don't feel like they need to change. This is who they are. You know what I mean? And that's just how some people feel.
We are getting kind of a little bit too much in that.
I think when people hear compromise, they think settling. It's like I'm settled. Like because in our society, it's you get what you deserve. You should be able to fulfill all your desires. You need, like, whatever it is that you want, you should have. And it's like, but then when it comes,
I think it's more so if people just feel I just want to do what I want to do,
right? That's what
and
I'm
I
saying.
believe what I want to. I don't feel like they believe they're settling, but they want to do what they want to do. They believe what they want to believe, and everybody's on the hype of find somebody that's for you. And if you don't agree with everything that I like, then you ain't for me.
Right, but isn't that settling?
I don't think that's settling.
If I'm saying I deserve X, Y, and Z, and you're saying I got to compromise, meaning I have to give up some of my X, Y, and Z for this to work, that's like, well, I'm not getting what I'm entitled to, so I'm having to settle for whatever it is that we're going to compromise for. When I'm saying settling, like not saying settling for a lesser person, I'm saying settling for what you don't, where you feeling like settling for less than what you feel like that you're entitled to.
I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that we live in a very entitled world where, again, everybody feels like that they deserve what they want. And they, like you said, they think somebody's out there that's going to do everything that I want them to do. Mm-hmm. Nah, it don't work like that. Well, it may work, but
good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
I'm weak.
Okay. So after watching the film, I've had a lot of takeaways, but what is the one takeaway that you would like the audience to leave with after watching Perspectives?
Listen, with Perspectives, I just want people to, learn more about themselves, their friends, their partners, have those discussions and, potentially, see yourself in each character, have I been Isaiah? Have I been Jada? How can I improve? So that's kind of what I want people to take away from this film.
Okay. Yeah. I think I did that.
How can I improve?
How can you improve? Yeah. And yeah. So and this isn't on the question, Doc, but we're gonna have to ask this question. So I know you said that you identify with both of them. So after you've written it and after you watched it, what are ways that you feel like that you kind of took away with, like things that you can improve on?
In terms of communication?
As far, yeah, just in general, just any of it, yeah.
I mean, for me, like I say, because I feel like you're trying to get me to reveal which one I resonate with. But honestly, it's just, I feel like it's just important to be open-minded. That's my biggest takeaway. When I watch it, I still kind of get triggered by certain parts. And I just feel like, okay, both of these people have their problems, but I think they're not bad people. You know what I mean? They had traumas in their life and they're just trying to figure out how to be in a relationship. So, for me, it's just like, I just got to be more open-minded in my next relationship. I want to try to really see where people are coming from, and not just try to push an agenda or think that my way is always right. So that's my biggest takeaway. You know what I mean? From
Okay. And I was kind of looking on your page, and I know there was a lot of behind the scenes things. So for the young, Black screenwriter, producer, anything like that, what kind of advice would you give to them? Because I know this obviously was a process, and you were involved from beginning all the way through the end. So what are some things you would have done differently? What are some tips of advice you would give for somebody that's interested in doing something like this? Because I know, these things are inspiring. People will watch it and they will want to, hey, there's some stories that I may want to tell. So what are some tips or some things that you would give as advice to somebody that may want to get into doing screenplays and projects and film and things of that nature?
Yeah, my advice would be, just start writing. If you're passionate about something, don't let, resources or anything deter you from doing it. You never know what can happen when you are pursuing something that's a passion. So I would just recommend that they start writing, they, do a casting call, go through the whole process. Anything is possible. Anything can happen, With this project, I didn't have that much funding. I didn't have a lot of things, but I said, I really want to tell this story. And I told the story, you know what I'm saying? So it's possible. It's not impossible to do. And yeah, just keep going. Don't let no one tell you can't do it. That would be my biggest advice. Yeah.
That's dope. It's very inspiring to see, see us doing us, and it was, you know, very well made. It was very well produced. You know, I'm gonna be honest. You know what I mean? When people hit me with short films and things like that, I'm like, I don't know, man. And then I'll try to watch it, and, you know, sometimes the quality ain't the best, and sometimes the acting ain't the best. I'm like,
right.
You know, and they asked me how it was. I'm like, yeah, you know, it was all right. It was all right. But nah, it was dope. It was dope. I liked it. At first, I was a little hesitant. I was like, nah, let me watch it. And I watched it, and it was dope. It was dope. And I'm not lying. Like, I wouldn't be trying to, you know, blow smoke. I really did enjoy it. And I genuinely am looking forward to part 2. I am looking forward to part 2. So, with that saying about part 2, and since you left us with the cliffhanger, for one, where can we first watch part 1? And then where and when can we expect part 2?
Okay, so if you want to see part 1, I think he may leave you guys may
I
leave
will
a link.
definitely leave a link. Yes.
But if you don't have access to the bio where he's leaving the link, you can search Perspectives Part 1 on YouTube. It should pop up. It should be the first thing that pops up. A guy and a girl looking real intense in the in the cover art. That would be the film. And for part 2, we're actually trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube before we release part 2. We're not there yet, but I'm promoting the film as much as I can, and I'm just one person, so we're just asking people, if you like the film, share it. It's a great film that, you would want to share, if you're looking for something to watch on girls' night in, guys' night in, date night, So, yeah, with everyone watching it, sharing it, we will have part 2 really soon. So
claiming it.
All right. As she's talking, I'm gonna make sure that I am subscribed.
Right.
And
if you guys are listening, to help, because look, I'm trying to see part 2, so y'all better go ahead and subscribe and get it up to 1,000, please, because again, it is a dope piece, and we always talk about trying to promote, support our Black people and support each other. And I can't, every time I try to support somebody, the only thing that Black people do is they sell t-shirts. Okay, well, this is an opportunity for you to be able to support somebody that is doing something positive in the community, that is putting out something that is going to create dialogue around healthy communications and healthy relationships. So we have to rally around people that are doing this, and we have to support. See, I wasn't even subscribed. I'm subscribing now, and I'm definitely putting on the bell. So it's on Channel 8 Pictures, right? Is that what the channel is?
Channel Apex Pictures, yeah.
Channel Apex Pictures, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, perfect. I am subscribed. And I am putting my money where my mouth is. I'm subscribed. So y'all gotta help them out. We appreciate it. Y'all gotta get the views up too, man. Yeah, you guys gotta get the views up too. Get the views up, likes, comments, all that. Help out the algorithm. Well, we want to just give you your flowers, girl, because you are killing it. We are giving you a round of applause. I know you can't hear it, but keep going. Keep going. I would love to hear more and see more. I definitely want to see the part 2, but it sounds like that you have more ideas kind of locked and loaded. So I'm looking forward to see what other films that you produce and what other, series that may come about this, because somebody's going to pick you up and somebody's going to put some funding into you, and you know what I'm saying? This is how it starts. Yep. Everybody wants to ride the coattail when people get big. Right. But you know what I'm saying?
So don't forget us.
Tyler Perry was doing plays around the nation and wasn't getting a dime. But now, he got a whole studio in Atlanta and the whole nine. So, you know what I'm saying? Humble beginnings, I think, make great stories.
Absolutely. And you see how once he got to where he is, how he really tries to bring everybody up. So, and I think how he started and what he went through, I feel like he goes out of his way to make a lane for other people. So it had to happen like that.
Yeah. So Tyler Perry, if you're watching, dog, help her out.
Help me out, Tyler.
Yeah, and then I need an acting role, man. I need my debut.
Okay.
All right, well, Niece, it's been fun. I know it's late over there, and I know that it is
Yeah.
Cold. I'm sure it's cold over there too. So we gonna let you go. But it's not.
Not bad. We had a 70-degree day in Cleveland.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
did.
Well, excuse me. Look at us.
Well, look at LeBron James shedding light on Cleveland. All right. Well, look. Well, you guys got. Well, can we switch?
Right, because it's cold out here.
Because it's cold in California right now.
It really ain't that cold.
It's cold to me.
As soon as it gets to like 70, below 75, I'm like, it's cold.
Because we spoiled out here. All right. Well, we gonna let you go, girl. We are gonna have you on again when you make it big. Because we are speaking it into existence. All right. So we're gonna give her another round of applause. We need to elevate Black women and Black voices, man. I love it. I love her spirit. I love everything about her, and I will definitely be following and be supporting as much as I can. So we're going to let you go. We're going to get on to the rest of this pod and talk about Drake's toxicity.
Man.
And all the other toxicity we're going to talk about today. But we appreciate you, and hopefully we can help you get to your goal.
Thank you. Take care. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
No problem. Love you too, and blessings. All right. Mm-hmm.
That was dope.
That was dope, man. I love supporting good people, man. That's really what it boils down to me, man. It's really about the good people and what,
especially creatives.
Yes.
Especially just like, that's why I don't understand why, creatives, I won't say that they don't support each other more, but we definitely have to. And I feel like it's just natural because as a creative, you know what goes into the process of somebody actually bringing a vision to life, actually producing something, putting something out, just, being vulnerable enough to put something out.
Yeah.
And then also the work that goes behind it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just having the courage to do it.
Yeah, the courage, number one. And then number two, all of the behind the scenes.
Yeah. And all the things that could go wrong, because really, like, if nobody else has done it, it's uncharted territory.
Shooting in the dark. I mean, luckily we have YouTube these days.
That's true.
And we have so many resources, which I'm grateful for, but having resources and information and actually still putting them into action, baby, you can have all the information in the world, but actually putting it into rotation, it don't always go how you think it's going to go. We still been learning and growing, still learning and growing.
Oh, absolutely.
And all the research we did, like you said, we went a long time researching and planning before we started, and it was still, you just learn as you go. So anybody out there that's thinking about doing something, wanting to do something, just start, because you're never going to be 100% ready, because it's always going to be growing pains and things you have to learn along the way, period. No matter what. So
no, that's facts. I second that. If you are listening and you are on the fence about doing something, just do it. Just do it, and you can figure it out as you go. You ain't never gonna get it, like you said. You ain't never gonna get everything figured out 100%. Like, you gonna have to just work it out, and it will come. But just have the courage just to take that first step. And once you take that first step, the second, the third, fourth steps, then they become a little bit easier. So
a lot of times too, like, we scared to start because we are embarrassed to fail. I think a lot of people are embarrassed about, I feel like I tried it and it didn't work out. Okay, so what?
Right.
So what?
Right.
Try it again.
Right.
Who cares? The only people that's going to be judging and laughing at you is the people who ain't doing nothing. Anyway. Let's just talk about it.
That part.
It's always the people who ain't doing nothing. So.
Yeah. I agree. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get on into the internet wins again, where we talk about the trendingest topics, things of that nature. We're going to get on into it, man.
Woo.
Since we on the topic of relationships and
up first
communication,
on the docket.
And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you.
So up first on the docket, we have Christean and Blueface. And as usual, they have a lot of things going on. If you don't know who they are, Blueface is a rapper who don't put out songs anymore. But he had what was that one hit he had?
I don't know.
I get it. Oh, Tatiana.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then he went on to have, was it a show? Don't give me the line. Wasn't it a show with all these girls? I don't know.
No. I think that was Baddies.
Okay, well, Christean was one of his artists, and the way that we were first introduced to them was toxic from the beginning. It was social media, live video. He was trying to kick her out of the house. She did not want to leave. Very disrespectful, all of that. And they went on to get back together and have a string of more toxic things happen. Most recently, she went on live and accused him of abusing her. I believe she said that he punched her in the face. And then he followed up and said, no, I did not. She was drunk. She just fell out of the car. And then she came back and doubled down. No, she came back and said
that she changed her story.
And said that I did fall or whatever. And of course, most people believe that she's not telling the truth because she wants to go back to the relationship. And it's just a crazy cycle. And the craziest part about it is that they are on the horizon of having a new show come out. Christean and what's the name of the show?
It's called Crazy in Love.
Crazy in Love. And just the name of the show, you know what they are producing it for.
Right. Crazy in Love. Right.
Basically to showcase a toxic relationship. And it's insane because all the antics have led up to them getting a show. Her taking her tooth out for him, getting his face put on a tooth, all the tattoos,
his face tattooed,
him fighting her dad. I mean, the list goes on.
And take a wild guess on what network is going to produce the show.
I'm gonna assume Zeus.
Zeus.
They love toxic shit over there. Baddies. What else? Didn't they have the Bad Boys Club? All of it. It's all
the fighting bad boy.
Wasn't it Jocelyn's Cabaret? Just toxic. And it just, for me, it was very disappointing to actually see them get a show.
Yeah.
I cannot lie.
And you know, to add more context to it, people keep tweeting her, telling her to leave. And she keeps like, one of them was like, she tweeted, she was like, why do you guys not think I'm not going to leave? And then people was like, because you haven't.
And you been should've.
Yeah. So, and you know, from his standpoint, he's trying to make it seem like she's not innocent in all of this.
I'm not saying she is. Absolutely
no, I know. I want to just give full context.
Yeah.
That he said that she's not innocent, that she's aggressive and she's abusive.
We've seen it. She punched him in the face on camera.
Yeah. So there's just been a lot of toxicity. I mean, that's really the only way that we can kind of boil it down. So
my thing is, just off the rip, do you think we should feel bad for, I won't even just say women, but people who stay in toxic or abusive relationships or keep going back?
That really is a question. And I do feel bad. I do. Because there's a lot of other things. I think people just look at it like, if you're getting abused, why not leave? But they're not factoring in some of the other things like trauma bonding, that it is, that being in an abusive relationship is a cycle. And a lot of times that, you know, and I'm not a psychologist or no therapist, but from my understanding is that you get abused and then the abuser would then be super nice. And then it's kind of like this like give and take of, okay, they do something hurtful, but then they come back and then they're apologetic. They try to win you back. They're super good for a time. And then it happens again. So it's kind of like this game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
And then by the time you look up, you're like too deep into it and you're too invested. And somebody told me something that was very deep that I never really got until I got older. They said that we think that love and hate are opposites. And they said love and hate are actually closer together than what most people think they are. Being indifferent is the opposite of love and hate because you're emotionally tied. When you hate somebody, you're invested in your emotions into that person. So that love and hate is, you know, side by side.
Yeah.
Being indifferent or not caring is the opposite of love or hate. So it's not like a polar opposite. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So that's kind of why we see like these, you know, these Ike and Tina Turner kind of relationships where it's like, you know, they're lovey-dovey 1 minute, then they're hating and throwing stuff at each other the next. And the next day, then they're perfectly fine.
Right.
Because you're emotionally invested, like you're tied into that. So I think, you know, I don't know if it's clout chasing. I don't know if that's kind of what they're going through.
That's part of it. I think that's part of it. Because at the end of the day, you have to look at the fact that they're constantly being rewarded for the toxic behavior.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? Like, how many people would have really listened to her song if there wasn't so much toxicity around their relationship? Like, every time that they're featured on the Shade Room or whatever, now they're, now she's getting bookings and hosting clubs and doing all these different things. So it's like, this is keeping us relevant.
Right. Well, to the point where they got a show.
There you go. All the way to the point that they got a show. Yeah. So we reward toxic behavior a lot of time. I was watching a YouTuber just recently, and she was saying that people were saying that she's negative and all of this. And she's like, a lot of times you see YouTubers use the negative, thumbnails or whatever in the clickbait because that's what y'all click.
Right.
How can you know if I'm negative if you're not clicking on a video?
That's true.
You clicked it.
And you're more invested in it.
And you clicked it because you wanted to see what I said because it's negative. And she was saying, like, you will click on a video of me saying I crashed my Tesla before you would click on a video saying I got a Tesla.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I'm like, that's absolutely true. Like, we are attracted to negativity, and it's like, I don't know. It's weird in a lot of ways. Yeah. Like, we sit up, like, we brag about watching killer couples and all this toxic shit. Like, we watch all Discovery ID and just trauma.
Yeah.
Why? Why are we so...
Why are we conditioned for that? That's a great question.
It seems kind of weird. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I do it.
I think for this situation, I think it's because you are waiting to see the train wreck. You know what's going to happen. You see it from a mile away, but you sit there and you want to see it happen.
That's crazy.
And what's sad is that it's our entertainment. But yeah, I do,
we're being entertained by somebody else's trauma.
Yes. But what I don't like was at the beginning she was labeled as a ride or die chick.
Yeah. Yep.
At first that's what it was. She was like, oh, she's down for him. She got his name tattooed. She did this. She lost her tooth. She's still riding. She's still rocking. She's the bottom bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. Now it's abusive. Like, but it was abuse. If it was not physically abusive at the beginning, it was emotionally abusive. Like, there's multiple forms of abuse.
Yes. Financial, emotional, all that.
All that. Mental abuse. Like, we can't verbal abuse, like talking down to her. Like, we can't always sit up here and say, like, we always have this like, we're always appalled when it's physical abuse. There's multiple forms of abuse. There is, there's manipulation. There's a lot, and we also need to form and look at that. The reason why she's in the position she is because she was vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because he said it multiple times. Oh, she's not innocent. You need to pray for her because of her mental health. But the same reason that you are with her is because of her mental health. She was broken. She had no self-esteem. She had no whatever. And like, you are able to manipulate her and have her do whatever it is you want her to do because of her mental stuff. So the same thing that you're saying, telling people to pray for, is the same reason why you chose her in the beginning. Because no self-respecting person would be in a situation that she's in. Where you were in a house with, like, how many girls was in that house?
It was a lot.
And they're all sleeping in bunk beds. Getting, like, no self-respecting person would be doing that. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to say it because, no, it's just the truth. No. I would, no. As a father, I would never raise my daughter to be like, why would you be the 6 or 7 and then, like, have pride and working your way up the totem pole?
That's insane.
So, you are very much responsible for this, as much responsible for this as she is.
It's definitely a mutually toxic relationship.
For sure. And
I mean, he got his issues too. We seen the toxic relationship he has with his mom. So, I feel like
with his baby mom.
Yeah, with his mama.
I know, and his baby mom.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like a lot of times people who end up in these mutual toxic relationships both have their own
they both have issues.
Triggers, trauma, whatever going on. Like, he talking about pray for you. They need to be praying for you too, bruh. You know, like, I don't know. It's crazy. And I think we've all, at one point in time, I won't say fell victim to, but a lot of, like, back in the day, it was the idea of, like, toxic relationships were like, that's because they're so in love. Like, you know what I mean? It was kind of like
well, if you crazy that, if you're not crazy off the hook acting out, that you don't love me.
Yeah. And I've been in a relationship like that where that was the expectation. The expectation was for me to flash. The expectation was for me to be jealous. And if I wasn't jealous, why ain't you jealous? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I've been in a relationship like that, and I'm like, I'm not finna do that.
No.
I'm not saying I ain't been in a relationship and did that, but at the time I had already grown and elevated above that, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't do that over here.
That's not, well.
It's not love. And I shouldn't have to prove my love by acting a fool.
It could be. It could just be coming from an unhealthy place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think.
But I'm not going to show my love through
crazy action.
Yeah. No, I'm not finna do that. So I think in that situation, it's important to be able to notice that type of behavior and notice where it's coming from. And for me, it just came with experience and maturity, but a lot of people don't know when to leave a toxic situation. So,
well, how can you tell when it's time to leave a toxic relationship? And obviously that's a broad question.
It is very broad
because there's different types of toxic, but just in general, what are some tall tale signs when it's time to leave?
I think for me, it would be, it usually comes with the communication. Like when the communication is toxic, that's big for me. You know what I mean? Like we can't talk without like blow ups. Like, of course you're going to have heated conversations, but you know what I mean? Like we cannot communicate with it without it being a blow up.
Right.
Or I feel like I have to walk on eggshells.
Right.
To avoid a blow up. You know what I mean? Where I feel like I'm emotionally being suffocated because I don't want this person to feel away or everything leads to an argument. It's for me personally. And that seems small, but that's because I'm at a place where I'm not even letting it get big.
No, that's not. I don't think that's small. I would say, just to be more broad, or not maybe more broad, but I would say the time to leave is when respect has been lost, and when you find yourself acting out of character.
Yes,
those are the two tall tale signs to me.
Yes.
Because you have to have mutual respect for your partner.
Absolutely.
Because when you start disrespecting each other, that's when it gets toxic. And then when you start acting out of character and doing things that you would not normally do, that tells me that either something in that person is triggering you to bring it out of you, or you have totally lost, like, you're not who you are. Like, you're not who you're supposed to be. And I've definitely been in those relationships before.
Yep.
Where I'm like, yo, this is not me.
Yeah.
Like, arguing, yelling, all that, like, I'm pretty calm to the most part. But when you see that you are continually being triggered and you keep setting a boundary, somebody keeps overstepping that boundary, it's like, all right, look, either this changes or I'm out.
Period.
Because if you keep stepping over this boundary, then that means you don't respect my boundaries. And that means you don't respect what I'm asking. And sooner or later, to me, that it gets worse and worse and worse. And not to say that you can't come back from that. I think you can.
You can.
But you have to have the respect level there first, though.
Absolutely.
So
I think for women, it was like a meme that said, like, once you corny to me, you can't uncorn yourself. And I feel like sometimes it's like that with respect. Sometimes, like, you could tell when a woman lose respect for you. You could tell.
Yeah. And see, but even that's a deeper question, because not even a deeper question, a deeper conversation. And again, I don't want to generalize this, but it's true. If you did not have an active father, or you did not have a positive male figure in your life that you had to respect, that you were shown what respect actually looked like, I think it is a little bit more difficult. And I think when you have a father wound, I think it can be more difficult. I'm not saying that it is, that it can be more difficult for you to respect men that, whether you want to say have authority or that you are in relationship with. I think it can be more difficult if that is the case, especially if the mother figure that you had in your life was either bitter or had some type of ill feelings towards the man that should have been in your life and was bad mouthing, was disrespecting them on a continual basis. I think it makes it more difficult because sometimes it's not you. Like you thinking like, why is she disrespecting me? It's not me. This is what she saw growing up, and vice versa. Where if a man saw, or I mean, if a boy saw a man disrespecting his mom over and over again, or disrespecting women, or objectifying women.
I've seen guys that had a mother that they respect and still don't respect women.
No, I know.
I be like, bruh, like I don't understand. Like,
but again, I think it makes it more difficult. Or again, if you were hurt by a woman, I think it can there's a multiple reasons that it could be that way. And I think sometimes we always look at it like it's me. It's like sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's just that's what they saw, so they're repeating it because they're not intentional about changing it.
Or y'all just might not be compatible. I think we got to start understanding that, like, it is a million people in this world. It's not that far-fetched to believe that you just might not be compatible with somebody. Like,
that's true. Well,
it could literally be that simple.
I think people need to define what compatibility means. I think people get compatibility mixed up. People get chemistry and compatibility mixed up.
Yeah.
Because they think compatibility comes naturally.
It don't.
No. Chemistry comes naturally. Because that's how you feel. Like you love being around them. Like, oh, I'm a vibe. You a vibe. I feel good when you around me. Like you make, okay, that's chemistry. Compatibility is, do you guys, again, I think we talked about it before, do your values align? I
have values that align with a lot of people that I know I would not be compatible with. And it's not necessarily that I couldn't be compatible with them. But for me personally, I don't want to sound selfish, but I don't want to step too far out of who I am to make myself compatible with somebody just because we have values that align. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm not saying that I don't compromise. I'm just saying I personally am not going to.
You have to give me an example. Because to me, if your values align, I don't think, and this is just how I look at it, nobody would ask you to step outside of that to be compatible.
Well, like, okay, well, I dated somebody that, the chemistry was good, but as far as like, he was way too regimented, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, it was just those type of things where it's like, you're not a bad person. It's just like the chemistry is there, but it's like no, it ain't for me.
See,
but you're not a bad person. And it's not necessarily like, I don't know. It's kind of, it seems shallow, but it.
I understand what you're saying, but you know what's crazy is I think the opposite though. I think you can be compatible and be two totally different people. I think it actually works better. I think it works better that way. In some senses. Yeah. So like, for instance, like just the example that you're using. If somebody is more a stickler for time and the other person is more free-spirited, most people will say we're not compatible. And it's like, no, or maybe you guys are together because you guys are going to teach each other how to live a little bit better. The person that's a little bit better with time will teach you how to be more structured. The person that is a little bit more free-spirited will teach you that everything doesn't have to be scheduled and you can have a little bit of, you can be more spontaneous. Yeah. And to me, I think you can respect the differences, but learn from each other and then come to some type of common ground.
But I feel like, if you don't, I don't feel like it's a bad thing.
No, it's not.
And that's the thing. Like, I feel like when people aren't compatible or people don't work out, we always have to say, well, this person was the wrong person. This person, like, I feel like we're always looking for who was wrong or who was the reason why it didn't work out versus just saying like, bruh, it just didn't work out. Like, for me, it was just kind of like, like I said, I want to feel comfortable. I shouldn't feel like, am I doing this right? I don't want to do this wrong. I ain't got time for that.
Right.
You know, and I don't want to sit around having these long, drawn out conversations all the time about
why you do what you do.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, maybe not. But you're a good person.
That I agree with. And sometimes it's just the wrong timing.
That too.
Sometimes it's the right person, wrong time.
Yeah, obviously I've been there because obviously, you know, me and my husband was broke up for like a good 7 years. No, we was together 4 years, broke up about 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. Wrong time.
Yeah.
But then it was the right time. So I
just think people gotta stop. Oh, we're so different. You're supposed to be different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to duplicate yourself?
Absolutely, yeah.
Don't you want to learn? In order for you to learn how to love somebody properly, you have to accept their differences.
But the person that I was dating, I could not see myself being friends with them.
No, and that's different. That's what I'm saying.
And so that's what I mean as far as like compatible. Like, you a cool person and there's things that I like about you, but I'm like, would we really be friends outside of...
If you don't get along, then it's not going to work. Or if there's no chemistry, then it's not going to work. There has to be an initial spark, chemistry. I want to be around you. I feel comfortable in your presence.
Well, usually it be he look good.
Right? But then do you feel comfortable?
Exactly. That's why I said when you get further into it, it's like, you a cool person, but not the person for me.
Well, and then is there a respect level? Because respect to me says, I acknowledge your differences and I'm going to allow you to be you. Mm-hmm. And I respect your differences and I love that about you. Not, this is... I want to be with you, but you're going to have to change some things in order for this to work. Like
this person, like literally we went on a vacation and like literally he was like one of those people that like want to get up. We're going to be up at 6:30. Then we're going to do this. Then we're going to do that. that ain't me. That ain't me at all. But I'm like, okay. And I'm like, you are so worried about all the details and everything that I'm like, how do you even have fun? He's like, I have fun of the thought of that we're having fun. Like, what does that even mean?
But that's what I'm saying. But he would need somebody that is spontaneous, that's a little bit more free-spirited, that can teach him to come out of that. But you would have to have the patience to deal with it. And again, there would have to be a respect, and he would have to be open to it.
I was about to say, because if you're not open to it and, you know, the whole trip is ruined because we missed one thing and we wasn't there right after. Ain't nobody got time.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I am all for being structured, but there should be room to have fun.
Like, come on,
and relax. If you on a vacation,
like,
to me,
nope, we can't go there because we got to be over here at 5:30. I ain't got time, bro.
That's not a vacation.
Exactly. I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So like, again, but that's why you date people, you get to know people, you see them in different scenarios. I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. Yeah.
To me, being open-minded is what is attractive.
Absolutely.
You can have your ways, but you should be open. Mm-hmm. Because you want both people to have a good time on there. Yeah. So again, to me, that's a character flaw, because if you're not, if you are so prideful that you're stuck in your way of doing things, then that shows me that you're not, again, willing or open enough to have a relationship. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to say earlier. He felt entitled to doing things the way he wanted it to do. Mm-hmm. And he felt like if he were to compromise or do things differently, that it would be egregious, or felt like that it would be settling for something else or catering or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's what a relationship is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's two people.
Yeah. And it's funny because like my husband now is the more spontaneous one and I'm the more regimented. So I'm like, it's crazy because I was with somebody before that I was like, that's just too regimented. But then he sees me as regimented. So it's like, it just all depends on perspectives,
all of that,
man. But I always wanted to have somebody again where it was the friendship.
Yeah.
That's very, very important to me.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of times like growing up and dating, like I always was like friend zoned. Like that happened to me a lot. Which I mean, it's cool. Like, I mean, I have a lot of, and like, even like with my husband, he's like, so is that like your friend? I'm like, I mean, we might have liked each other for like 2 seconds, but we just became friends immediately. So I don't know. I mean, I ain't the finest girl, but I ain't ugly to just be friend zone like that. But I feel like I do get along with, don't be laughing. Do not be laughing. Don't be laughing. This was my struggle. All my life I had to fight.
I got you.
But I mean, again, so I have the belief that girls and guys could be friends because I always look for a friendship first, but then sometimes you get stuck there.
Oh my God.
Why is you laughing at me? You scared.
Oh, this friend zone comment because I was not expecting us to go in this route. We talking about Blueface, then we're talking about being friend zone.
I don't know how we be doing it. Look,
I used to friend zone people after the fact.
What do you mean?
Like we would date, we would kick it, whatever, and we would just find out that we were better off as friends.
Yeah, and I mean that's fine. I've never taken offense, but
for me, it was always mutual. It was always like, like you're a dope person. Like I like you. Like we're cool. We just not gonna work out as a couple.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's just, again, sometimes it was just bad timing, or sometimes it was just like you just a dope person, but I rock with you. It just this ain't gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. Why do you?
I'm just thinking back to my friend zoning. I'm trying to think back. Have I friend zoned anybody? I think I probably have.
I've definitely friend zoned people. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I've never taken offense because I friend zone people. So
So as a man, what are the reasons why you would friend zone somebody?
If there were just like, because again, at first you find somebody physically attractive, but then like when you talk to them, like you may have like the same values and things like that, but there might just be certain things that turn you off about the person as far as like romantically.
Like what?
I feel put on the spot. I don't know. I don't want to sound shallow. Like you trying to.
You already here. You might as well say it that way.
Why did I even bring this up? Like,
oh man.
I don't know. Like little things.
Like what?
Like for me, it could just be like how they text. Like
how they text. Oh my God. Okay.
If niggas can't spell, like, like I had a dude, like he was real cool. And I was like, dang, I like him.
You friend zoned him for not being able to spell?
Let me finish.
Oh my Lord.
He called me and he was like, is this Stephanie? I was like, nigga, you can't pronounce my name? Then I had another nigga that literally spelled my name Stiffney, Stiffney. I was like, bruh, you cool? We could be friends.
You friends on the first misspelling your name? Oh my God. Oh my God.
You wouldn't friend zone somebody for that?
No.
Oh, hell.
For misspelling my name?
Bruh. My name is Stephanie. It is simple. Like you can't spell that.
My name is Rob.
Even if you put a PH, I could live with that. But Stephanie?
Maybe it was the autocorrect on the text.
No, absolutely not.
I ain't friending on nobody over that. But hey, to each his own.
I will, and then it'd be like certain things. Like I had one dude, like he would always ask me for a ride, and I'm like, bro, how was you riding before? You ain't gotta have no car, but we could be cool, but no.
That's too codependent for me.
There you go.
Find the way you was getting around before, or maybe it was some other chick,
bruh. Like, and I had one dude, like we had been talking for like a couple weeks, and he was like, "Can you give me a ride to an interview?" And I was just kind of like,
that's too early though. Like,
I respect that you, I respect that you on your grind, but no.
Nah, that's too early.
We cool, but no.
No, that's too early to be asking for that.
Don't ask me for nothing.
Even if I needed a ride, I never ask for a ride.
Don't. if we not like really invested, don't ask me for nothing. I just kind of feel like that. Like, I'm trying to get to know you. Don't ask me for shit.
No, I agree. That I can agree with. I can see that being a reason why you would friend zone somebody. But hey. All right.
I need y'all to comment down below and give some reasons of why you would friend zone somebody, because he trying to act like I'm extra paid.
I want to know why women friend zone men. Yes.
Okay, and men, why do y'all friend zone women? I mean, if y'all do,
I don't think men really friend zone.
I was just about to say, I don't know if they really. I've been friend zoned.
I have. See, but and then we got to define that too. Friend zoning somebody doesn't mean you still sleeping with them.
That's friends with benefits. That's a whole nother name.
That's a whole nother name. Like the whole, that's my cousin. That's my plate. Like, nah, don't be doing that.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm like, for me, I've always been honest about the people that I talked to first, and then we became friends, or if something happened and then we became friends. I'm gonna say something because, again, like I always say, it should come from you.
Oh, for sure.
It should come from you.
If you find out from other people, then it's all bad.
All bad. So I'm always like, just so you know,
just in case.
You know,
we talked for a little bit, messed around,
didn't work out.
Yeah. So, yeah, got to be transparent and honest. But yeah, I back to the topic. I know we kind of got off a little bit of tangent. I am not looking forward to that reality show. I hope that it is boycotted. And honestly, I hope that people boycott Zeus. I
don't even have Zeus. I've not been moved by anything that they've promoted yet.
No.
To get, because I think they even didn't have that Black China show, the toxic relationship with her and her mom. Everything on that platform is toxic. And I don't like that.
No, I agree.
I'm for reality TV. I understand that reality TV is going to have like a level of drama to it.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's over the top.
It's over the top. And it's no, like you said, balance. Like, what else do y'all got on there?
Yeah, other than that. So I agree. I totally agree. And yeah, no, to me, it's trash.
Hi. Speaking of toxic, we have Petty Drake. He's back at it again.
Yep. And we're going to just roll this into the It's a Bop, because we're obviously going to review the album as well. But we want to talk about why Drake has been trending for the last 2 days.
Yeah, he's been trending. Drake's album dropped with 21 Savage, Her Loss, and on there he had a couple disses. He allegedly dissed Meg Thee Stallion.
Allegedly?
Well, that's what people are saying.
Oh, come on.
He allegedly dissed Meg Thee Stallion. He definitely dissed Serena Williams' husband, excuse me, which is a diss to her, because when you marry, we are one. Yep. So if you diss my husband, you diss me.
I agree.
But with the Meg Thee Stallion, so the reason why they're saying allegedly is because even Meg Thee Stallion said, y'all got to stop attaching these conspiracy theories to my name. And she's saying that he technically didn't say her name, but the line that he said was, these bitches lied about getting
shot.
This bitch lied about getting shot, but she's still a stallion. So people are saying that he said lied about getting shots, as in butt shots, but she's still a stallion. But either way, if that was the line, you still were referencing Meg Thee Stallion, who got shot. Like, we're not stupid.
Well, okay, so we're gonna do a hip hop class, okay? Because I see people were getting a little bit upset about this. All right, so that is what we call a double entendre.
Exactly,
which means that it has double meaning, but it is a play on words.
Basically.
Okay, so I'm trying to find the actual.
I got it. On
actual lyric, okay? Because I don't want to miss.
I got it. You know I got it, because I immediately went to listen to the album.
Yeah, so if you want to read it for me, then we're going to break it down. But,
okay, so he said, this bitch lied about getting shot, but she's still a stallion.
Okay, so double entendre. The word getting shot, he's talking about butt shots, because a stallion is a tall, thick black woman, right? Or women in general. But he's also, obviously, it could mean that she lied about getting shot
by Tory Lanez,
but she's still a stallion, meaning Meg Thee Stallion. So it's a double entendre. Drake is known for it. He's known for his wordplay, his wittiness, whatever. So for those who are saying, oh, it can only mean one thing, no, it means multiple things. It is a diss. It is disrespectful. It is talking about her getting shot, and it is saying that she's lying.
Yeah.
So, or else he wouldn't have wrote it like that.
I mean,
it was very intentional. People, it's just wordplay, it's just hip hop. No. he meant it. He put it out there. It's what it was. You know, I think we also have to consider that Meg Thee Stallion has had issues with Jay Prince. Jay Prince called Meg Thee Stallion out. So anybody that Jay Prince has an issue with, because Drake is tied to Jay Prince, and if it wasn't for Jazz and them, Drake wouldn't have had his deal, that Drake is going to speak up. And I feel like this was him speaking up on Jay Prince's behalf.
I mean, he also obviously is friends with Nicki too, and there's funk there too. So
yeah. So no, it was intentional.
I absolutely believe that it was intentional.
I don't want to, and people, no. It has double meaning.
Absolutely.
And he meant both.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, do we feel like misogyny is dismissed with Drake but condemned with other artists?
I'm gonna let you answer that because you were the Drake expert.
I wouldn't say that it's dismissed. I feel like in this situation they're trying to dismiss it, but I feel like Drake has a lot of music uplifting women. Like, you know, he got Nice for What, he got Make Me Proud, he has a lot of, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of times we talk about telling your story, and he does definitely talk about a lot of his relationships in his music, but I definitely feel like in this situation they're trying to dismiss it.
Okay, so I guess maybe the better question is, do you believe Drake is misogynistic?
I think all hip hop. I can't say like I can't take all his lyrics off the top of my head, but I just really don't really think there's many hip hop artists that ain't. Okay. And I'm just being all the way 100. I'm a Drake stan, but I'm not the type of fan that is not going to admit when somebody does something wrong. Just like I am your friend, but I could disagree with something that you've done or something that you said. We sat here and disagreed all the time. And I think that's the problem that we are in stan culture, where you have to be 100% for somebody, and to prove that you have to agree with everything they do and excuse everything that they do, versus I'm a fan of your music, but you can still be wrong as a person. Period. Simple as that. Like, I had so many people in my inbox, like, what do you think? What are you going to say? How do you feel? I'm like, what you think? Because Drake said something about Meg Thee Stallion that I'm finna not like Meg Thee Stallion no more, not support. Like, what? Like, no. That nigga was wrong, period.
Well, it was unnecessary.
Unprovoked.
Why did you need to say it?
What was the point?
Again, and I truly believe it's because it's tied to Jay Prince. That's the only reason why I can really think of it is, or again, it just felt like, I mean, you don't want to say it's clout chasing because I don't think Drake needs clout.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, you ain't even like one of the artists that need clout. This album was going to do numbers regardless.
But it is working.
I think it's
working because people talking about it.
People talking about it. People was going to be talking about it either way.
I don't think to this level, though.
I don't believe that.
I don't,
because even with Honestly Nevermind, it was talked about just because people didn't like. It's a Drake album. Everybody's gonna run to go listen to it to find like the quotes and it. Like we do this every Drake album.
I understand, but I think because of what was said, I think it is definitely spotlighted more. I just think it draws more attention, and we live in this world where bad attention is good attention, and I don't know. I'm really trying to wrap my head around Drake. And I want to play a clip. Real quick. I gotta find it. Just hold on.
I won't say that it's not, but
hold on. Let me play this clip, and then we're gonna talk about it because I think this is very interesting. I found this. This is old, so I don't want to make it seem like this is new. This is old, but we can't act like this conversation around Drake being a misogynist has not been going on for a while. I think it's been swept underneath the rug. But again, I just want to play this clip.
I must have missed it.
Missed the clip or missed the conversation?
Missed the conversation.
Oh, it's been happening.
Lyrics.
Hold on, let me rewind this.
A lot of hip hop and some lyrics can really be demeaning to women. I mean, sort of as this new generation of artists. Do you have any feelings on that, or does it bother you, or do you think it's just part of the culture?
I feel like there's just like a sort of fine line between demeaning and fun and wit. And I feel like a lot of the music like me and Wayne make, for example, it's fun and it's witty. You know, like we have a song like I Just Wanna F Every Girl in the World. You know, that's one of our biggest songs together. And, you know, is it to be taken literal? Is it to be, you know, dissected? And are we like, no, it's more just fun, witty moments. I mean, hip hop has elements of comedy in it. You know, those make for the best quotes. The punchlines are made up of clever wit. You know, that's where we thrive. So,
Or sort of shocking stuff too, once in a while.
I mean, I personally don't go for the shock factor. Like I don't really. Wayne says some things that like, but at the same time, you know, he never like. I can't honestly sit here and tell you that it's distasteful or that women at his shows don't scream those lyrics back to him at the top of their lungs. And it's like, I feel that to demean a woman, it's something completely different than what we do. You know, I feel like, you know, the B word at times is definitely, you know, demeaning, but I really do feel like a lot of the things in hip hop are context related. It's all about how you say it and how you deliver the product, what type of guy you are. And, you know, I mean, you see me before you. I'm definitely not, you know, the type of guy that demeans women. I value women because one of the greatest women in the world raised me to be this guy that I am. So I could never not see the value in a woman. And I think that sometimes, you know, you just need to chalk it up as hip hop.
What did your mom think of all this, by the way?
My mom is my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, and the longest text messenger of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's that. What he just said is why I said I don't think there's any hip hop artist that is not misogynist.
So I'll say this
because it is a part of the culture. It's been ingrained since way long before Drake.
I'll say this. Drake is not perfect. No man is perfect, and we all have flaws, and the things that make us flawed make the music authentic. But I will say this. Drake Drake does this song and dance where he presents himself to be a gentleman. He presents himself, like he said in the interview, that I'm this man that my mother raised me to be. Mm-hmm. And then said, oh, I can never demean women. But you do. Mm-hmm. But you do. There is multiple lyrics and there's multiple songs. Like, I didn't even realize Hotline Bling was one of those songs because it's so catchy and you so involved in like the melody. Just follow me. Where a woman only has value if, I think he places women in two categories. He has the good girls and he has the bad girls. The good girls are the girls that wait for him, that aren't talking to other men, that aren't out clubbing, that aren't out taking pictures and posting the pictures and, you know, being as provocative as what the other girls are. And if they're waiting for him, and as long as they're centered around his importance and what he got going on, they're considered good girls. The other girls that are talking to other men, talking to other rappers, out in the club, taking pictures, going to like, I forgot what that song it was, but he's, you know, that lyric where he says that they, you know, go on vacations and they store it all, then they come back and then they make it seem like they're still on vacation. Like there's this definition he has where like a woman's value is kind of based on the proximity that it is to him. And that's just who he is.
You like literally just broke down and explained a lot of the men I know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, and
for
this
sure.
is the thing. You make music for the masses, and literally everything that you explain is what men do.
For sure.
So why would you make music that resonates with that audience? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's men. That's not Drake.
But it's coming from him.
It is coming from him.
And is the music for the women, or is the music for the men, or is that him speaking from his experience? So we're saying. So, but what I'm saying,
and that's why I said he tells, like we said, being transparent and telling your story. And if you're telling the story and you are a flawed individual, maybe it's gonna come across in your music. And that's why I say he talks about a lot of his experiences with dating, and his experiences with dating are a lot similar to all the men that we know.
I agree. What I'm trying to say is though, but it's to the muse or it's to the expense of the women that he's talking about. More times than not, like the Meg Thee Stallion record, you didn't need to include her name. You didn't need to include
Meg Thee Stallion ain't got nothing to do with you at all.
Well,
now the Serena line,
the Ice Spice, the Serena line. There's multiple other instances of that. And again, and it's not to bash Drake. I'm just saying that if we condemn Future for it, just because, and we've talked about this before, the delivery of it does not change the messaging of it. And it is if it's one time, 2 times, 3 times, that's fine. But it's a continual theme throughout.
Oh, wait. You said we condemn Future for it. Everybody, I won't say it's a running joke, but everybody knows Drake is toxic. Everybody says Drake is toxic. Yes. I say that all the petty Drake.
You may say that, but what I'm saying is on the misogynistic standpoint, because you just said that I didn't know that was a running conversation.
No, as far as like that deep, like I've never seen that. But as far as him being toxic, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Nobody has ever said Drake wasn't toxic.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm talking about misogynistic though, and I'm talking about him as far as painting himself to be.
I don't even see them say that about Future. They just say he toxic. And I feel like that all goes within the same vein.
They call Future misogynistic. I mean, we all know that he's misogynistic.
But at the end of the day, most people call Future toxic, and it all goes in the same.
It can.
It's all the same thing.
It can. Again, I want to just point that out. And it's not to take anything away from him as an artist. I'm just saying that there is a hypocrisy. In one standpoint, you are making anthems for women, but then in another standpoint, you're saying in this interview that your intention is not to demean
But ain't
women.
that what you asked? You always say it got to be balanced, and that's what I said about Drake. I'm like, I can't say that he's not, but there's
a difference between hypocrisy and balance. Hypocrisy is saying one thing and doing the other thing. Like in this interview, saying I don't demean women. You do, and then he said I don't go for shock. You do. That was shock. You did that, and it was Drake is very calculated.
Absolutely.
So we can't say that he does not think of what he's doing before he does it. So no, you do. You do, and you use women as muses for your records, and again, it's always in proximity to him, and it's always again labeling the good girl, the bad girl, and for him, it's always this. The sense I get is kind of like this insecurity where he projects it onto the women that he's talking about. Where a lot of the records is, just for the lack of whatever is, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be where you are at. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have these things. You wouldn't. I exposed you to this. I exposed you to that. And if anybody else would have said that, if it wasn't singing a record, it would be that's misogynistic. That's insecure. That's this. That's this. So again, it's the delivery of it. It sounds good. It's sonically good. It's singing. He's half black, half Jewish. He's a cute guy. He was on the Noggin or whatever show he was on Degrassi.
I can agree with that.
And let's be honest, it's also the nostalgia of a lot of us grew up to his music in college. We grew up with Drake. So you're a little bit more invested in Drake the same way that older generation than us is invested in R. Kelly, where they won't let go of R. Kelly because of, oh no, well, I can separate the man from the music.
But I'm not going to let go of Drake because he's misogynistic when hip hop culture as a whole is misogynistic. So that's like for me, like in this instance, you went too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what he's saying. Like, it is a part of the music and the culture in a lot of ways. So I would have to basically just stop listening to hip hop. And for me, that's a no to me.
Right. But it's disingenuous to label that as wit.
He didn't label that as wit.
Well, he said it's wit, it's punchlines, it's fun.
No, I'm talking about the line against Meg Thee Stallion.
Well, but I don't know how he labeled it. I think he is. I think it being a double entendre, I think he thinks was witty.
No. And that's
it's not witty to us.
No. And that's what I'm saying. That was trifling.
Right. And again, this is an isolated incident. I don't want to, I'm not condemning his whole entire catalog.
No.
I'm just saying, but this is...
No, but his whole entire catalog is what you say is toxic. And we talk about toxic music, and I'm like, I don't think, when I listen to Drake, it's not like we're in this trance of not understanding, what the music is saying.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Some of the women are. I find it very hard to comprehend. And again, and it's not to condemn anybody, but we can't point out and label these people to be, oh, you're a misogynist, you're this, and that. But then you're dancing and reciting the very lyrics that are misogynistic. You're dancing and partying to the very lyrics that are misogynistic, but then you are quick to be on Twitter or Facebook to then label other people as misogynist. I just think there is a disconnect in that. And yes, is it part of hip hop culture? Absolutely. But it doesn't. And I think, again, the older you get, I think the more you realize. Like the conversation we had with Trey about some of the drug dealing lyrics. Yeah, that might have been what they needed to do to get by, but now you're glamorizing it. Now you are pushing it, and you're talking about it when you're 40, 45, 50 years old. Mm-hmm. There needs to be some type of growth there. And again, I'm not saying there isn't any growth in Drake's music. I'm just saying there is a disconnect here where we do allow the misogyny with certain artists, but then we don't allow it with either certain people or talk heads or whatever. And I think
it? Because Future's still doing numbers. It's allowed.
Well, who's listening to it? I know. I'm saying, but then
that's what I'm saying. You're saying we're allowing it with one and not the other when both of them is doing numbers. Like, this is the music. I don't feel like it's allowed with Drake and not with nobody else. The people is Future drops something tomorrow. It's doing numbers.
Right.
Future was in the talk for Song of the Year.
But Drake and Future to me are in the same vein. I'm saying
absolutely. So it's not being allowed with one and not the other.
I'm telling you,
you're saying it's being allowed with the musicians, but it's not being allowed with the niggas we know on a regular basis.
No, not even that. If there is an artist that they did not like, I'm telling you that they would be pointing out, labeling, misogynistic things like that. If you like him, you're going to excuse it. Drake is likable. They excuse it. If that was a Kodak Black or somebody else or whatever, or who else have we called out for either misogynistic color? That's what I'm saying. When we don't like somebody, then it's, oh, you're being misogynistic. You're talking about HIV. You're talking about this. You're talking about that. If somebody else would have had that bar about Megan Thee Stallion, it would be more uproar about protecting black women.
Absolutely. Actually, well, I don't know.
Wait, and I think I can only speak from my timeline. You said that similar.
I can only speak from my timeline because literally, I mean, I sent it to you. Like, what was said? Pusha T talked about Drake's mama, daddy, baby mama, producer, his kid, and ruined his Adidas deal. Yet Drake got bars from Megan and Serena's husband. Mm-hmm. Like, come on now. Like, I don't feel like people is just.
I think there is a pocket of people who do that. I think the masses are kind of looking blind.
No. The masses don't believe her. And that's the problem. And I'm not saying that she's not, I believe her. But I'm saying the problem is that a lot of people are saying, well, she did lie. Well, it is the truth. That's the problem. And that's been the problem from the beginning.
Could be, yeah.
So it's not that it's Drake. I feel like, because even when the baby said what he said about Megan, sleeping with, like, first, there's a vendetta against that girl. And nobody really cares to really stand up for her. So I can't really say that the masses are giving it a pass because it's Drake. They're giving it a pass because they don't care about her. They don't care about black women.
Or because they agree with it.
Or they agree with it. Mm-hmm. That's why it's getting a pass. Shoot.
Yeah. Could be.
Really? That's all the comments that I've been seeing. I've seen people post and say, this is trifling. In the comments is saying, well, where did he lie at? I mean, I don't just believe women just because of what they... So at the end of the day, that's...
Who's the majority of people saying that?
A lot of men.
Black men. Because they've been in situations or they're scared of somebody lying on them and ruining their whole entire career. Mm-hmm. But then the question begs, so where's the women?
The ones that's posting it and saying that it's wrong and then getting the responses from black men saying he ain't did nothing wrong?
I don't know. I see there's just a level of hypocrisy in this whole entire conversation. And it's not just, it's with the culture. It's with the culture. It's not with just Drake. It's not with just one particular people. It is the culture. There's dualities and there's a lot of hypocrisy where we talk about stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence, but then we are encouraging violent music, killing each other and things of that nature. Same thing with we say to protect black women, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Like even the whole WNBA conversation, like we say, oh, we should be supporting the WNBA. Then it's like, well, we're the women supporting the WNBA. You're asking men to support it when that's a women's league. So where are y'all at?
I'm not there, and I'm not gonna lie. I don't really watch the NBA like that. So why would I? I mean, I could be like, well, let me just support just because I don't watch basketball.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but it's just such a hypocritical conversation to have. You're asking men to support a women's league, which the WNBA loses money every year. And the only reason why they're able to operate is because of the NBA. But then what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why you don't see me opening my mouth on that.
You know what I'm saying?
I know you watch it, so I can't speak on it.
And that's kind of veering off. I just want to get back a point. If we are going to have a real conversation about protecting black women, and I understand why, that there's a little bit of doubt because there's a lot of different information that came out about Meg Thee Stallion and her shooting. Mm-hmm. That they couldn't find the bullet, they couldn't find the fragments, that she stepped on glass. I get it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look good. But then her lawyer just came out today and said that they don't even need a witness.
Well, let me go ahead and we're going to talk about what Meg had to say in response.
Oh, yeah, please read what Meg had to say.
What Drake said.
And then while you're doing that, her lawyer came out and said, we don't even need witnesses because the evidence is so outstanding that we are positive that after this, that people are going to feel very silly about what stance that they took before this.
She said, I know I'm very popular, but y'all got to stop attaching weak-ass conspiracy theories and bars to my name. Niggas nor hoes ever address me or at me with fact or receipts. I am clout, bitch. I ain't even gonna read the rest.
Hold on. Here we go.
So, and then somebody responded and said, basically with the bar and saying, so he didn't say your name, but basically he's still talking about you.
He said your name.
Come on now.
I don't understand what people are trying to say here, man.
She said that. That's where it was coming from, is because she's the one who said that. Okay. So, but then she also said, stop using my shooting for clout, bitch ass niggas. Since when the fuck is it cool to joke about women getting shot? You niggas, especially rap niggas, are lame, ready to boycott about shoes and clothes, but dogpile on a black woman when she say one of y'all homeboys abused her. She said, and when the facts come out, remember all y'all hoe ass favorite rappers that stood behind a nigga that shot a female. People attack me. Y'all go up for it. I defend myself. Now I'm doing too much. Every time it never ends. And this did not happen until I came out and said I got shot. Y'all don't fuck with me. Okay, cool. Fuck it. Bye. And this is after, I want to say maybe yesterday or the day before, her old label 1501 was coming out and putting out false information about her whole case with them. So she was defending herself about that. It's just like, and then the baby had the lyric about her. So it just seems like it's been a real vendetta against her. So I mean, like I'm definitely praying for her and her mental health to have that many people against you, and to have somebody as big as Drake to put out a bar insinuating that you lying.
And to me, Drake has to understand his influence.
Absolutely.
And for black women to and I don't want to do this either, because I think that we do this, that if you have disparaging things to say about one black woman, then we say, oh, you are attacking all black women.
That's true.
That's not the case. But I think this situation is a little bit different because of the circumstances.
Exactly.
And because of the fact that she is a culture icon right now, and a lot of black women do look up to her. So again, I know you got ties to Jay Prince, and I know that it wasn't a good look. And then the whole Serena line, I don't know what that was about, calling his husband a groupie.
So what I deduced from this album when it was called Her Loss, and I started listening to it, I started to believe that the album was supposed to be like, her loss, like the people who you was with.
Right.
You know how people be like,
yeah,
when you break up with somebody or whatever, your loss. So that's why that's what I thought the vibe of the album was going to be.
Yeah, but to call her husband a groupie?
Yeah, that was funny.
And then he clapped back and he said,
I am.
Oh, dog. He said, I'm supposed to be a groupie for my wife.
Period.
I'm like, damn, hold on. Clap back.
But Drake don't know nothing about that.
See, and I feel like
he's the one used to having the groupies.
And I feel like that's where some of his insecurities come in. That's where I think it's like you keep hurling these things around, but it's like, but dog, she's married and happy.
And where you at?
Right. you had to hide your son, but did like a press release, like you know what I'm saying. And another thing, like bro, you got all this smoke for all these women. Mm-hmm. Where the smoke for the niggas at?
Just like they said in that tweet.
Cause you would diss Diddy, you would diss Serena, you would diss Ice Spice, you would diss all these other people, but when Pusha T was on your ass, nigga, what was you doing?
Paid that nigga dust, which I ain't mad. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's one thing to pay a nigga dust, but then to turn around and have smoke for all these other people, nah. Either you got smoke or you don't.
Or you don't.
Or, maybe, the other thing about it is like he always got smoke for Kanye. So I think to me.
But yeah, don't rap.
I know, but I just think like creatively, I feel like sometimes, well, I don't know. He has smoke for Meek Mill, so I don't know. I can't call it a win and he do and don't want smoke.
I think he has smoke for people he knows that has an advantage over. I'm just kind of, lose a little bit of respect for him.
Absolutely.
I would like to hear what he has to say about the Make line.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is. And please, can this trial be over?
It ain't nothing he really could say.
It's been like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, it's been like almost 2 years.
That's not unknown. The only reason it seems like it's been so long is because it's publicized. But in real life, that's how long the shit be taking. I'm not even lying.
There's been delay. I know. I just want it to be over because I'm tired of hearing about it. And I want to hear the facts. I want to get the court documents. I want to see the police report. I want to see all of the information. And I want to just get to the bottom of it so we can move on. Because it's been a lot of back and forth.
I feel like people should move on. At the end of the day, it ain't you. And it ain't your business. Yeah. Like we be so invested and entitled to other people's business just because, they're celebrities. But any other person on the street, it's people going through this kind of shit all the time. And nobody bats an eye.
That's true. I would agree with that. Well, all right. Well, since we're talking about the album, let's go ahead and get into the It's a Bop.
It's a bop.
It's a bop.
We're going to start out with Drake and 21 Savage. We're going to talk about
Drake and 21 Savage. So
you want to give your thoughts on the track first, or?
It was a good album.
Okay.
I heard people saying album of the year. I don't agree with that. Was no album of the year. I'm not a big fan of 21 Savage. I was surprised. They actually meshed pretty well.
I think they did. I usually hate when Drake does joint albums. Well, he did the joint album with Future. That's, like I said, that's the one I listen to least. Mm-hmm. But I'm also not a Future fan. Mm-hmm. I never have listened to 21 Savage music like that.
Nah, I'm not a big fan.
Like, honestly, if I was listening to a 21 Savage song, I probably didn't even know whose song it was. So I won't say that I didn't have high expectations, but it was just kind of like, we'll see.
Right.
But I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I really liked it.
Yeah, it was a good album. It sounded more like a summer album, but this is definitely an album that
bothered me. I'm like, you should have dropped this.
This is an album you put on during like a workout, whatever. It's dope. It's good production. It's all of that. Obviously, outside of the controversy, it is a decent, good album. I will say it's a bop.
It is definitely a bop. I cannot lie.
Tracks stand out to me is Middle of the Ocean, because Drake was in his spitting bag on that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was the Back Outside Boys was the other one that I would say was one of my standout tracks. It was a long album, but out of the two, those are the ones that I remember the most that stood out.
Well, my top three is Middle of the Ocean, number one, because he slid on that. I was listening to Middle of the Ocean. I was like kind of like doing something, and I started kind of hearing which I was like, whoa, time out. Start over. This I got to sit here and listen to this. So Middle of the Ocean, he definitely slid.
When he gets in his Italian bag, and that's
on BS. For sure.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I hate to say it, and I hate myself for it, but Circle Loco.
Yeah, just for the concert, I couldn't pick that song.
I take out the Meg line. I love the damn the beat, the sample. Yeah. I love the sample, and that's why I was like, bruh, why?
It was dope production. It was dope production. I will admit that it was dope. So yeah, it was a good. For me, it's a bop.
It's a bop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think there's no question in it. Now the second, not album, song the Ciara Summer Rocker and Glorilla, the Better Things remix.
Initial thoughts. If I'm gonna be all the way honest, I have not really been a big fan of Ciara's music since the song with Future, back that era.
Can I just be honest?
What?
I hated it. Hated it. Glorilla had no business being on that song. It is definitely a flop.
I'm never gonna listen to it again. It's a flop.
It's a flop. I'm sorry. That was probably, I don't know, probably because she was hot, and it looks like Ciara keeps on trying to make these comebacks.
It's not.
Just let it go.
Let me stop. I was about to say she trying to make fetch happen, and I love it, but baby, I have not really liked a song. I mean, Level Up was cool. I mean, just cause for the message, but I don't know. I don't really be liking Ciara music no more.
Just let it go. Let it go.
I respect what she did with Goodies and
I'm
all of that,
I'm
that Like a Boy era.
And honestly, because people have such a disdain for Russ, they ain't gonna like whatever music that you put out anyway.
You think so?
Yes, people hate Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's true. I
hate
that they
just
take
off top.
They do
like
take it out on her a lot. Like it'd be like, oh, Ciara's twerking. She's supposed to be a wife. Like she be under a microscope now.
She is. So even if it was a good song, nobody's gonna like it.
Well, I can say that that's not the reason for me.
No.
I just did not.
It's a terrible song.
I did not like it.
It was a bad decision to add her on the remix, and I just didn't like it. So, flop.
Flop.
I think that might be the second flop of the year for us. All the rest of them have been bops. So, yeah.
Last up. So is it
yes.
Is it Division or DV? I call them DVSN.
Division.
I'm like DVSN go crazy.
It's division.
First
initial thoughts. I'm on the fence.
You know what? If I'm going to be all the way honest, I have not listened to much of his music. It's one person, right?
No, it's a group.
It's a group.
Oh, my Lord Jesus.
I have not really listened to their music like that. So going in, I kind of really didn't have an expectation.
Okay.
But I'm not really a big fan of his voice. He kind of sounds like if Omarion could actually sing.
Okay. Okay.
Like, that's what he sounds like to me. So I'm not a big fan of his voice, but I'm glad I did listen to it. I don't know if I was moved enough to listen to their other music.
I have to play it again. There were some tracks that stood out with the jagged edge and
that's my favorite one.
But a lot of the songs I've already heard. So sometimes it kind of ruins the flow of the album to me if I've already heard a lot of the songs that have come out, because they put out a lot of EPs and
so it's like the Money Long, where it was an EP that turned into an album.
Kind of, sort of. I love their music. I think that If I Get Caught blew up, and I think they kind of maybe rushed to put out an album. But I love their music. I need some more time, so I can't say it's a bop. I can't say it's a flop. I need to let it kind of shimmer a little bit, listen to it a couple more times. But I am glad that R&B is alive and well.
I'm always going to give R&B a chance. That's why I'm really glad that we do It's a Bop, because it really helps me to stay relevant to the new music, because I it's hard. Like, I really don't be keeping track of and they don't really promote when new music be coming out as much. Like, if you don't follow these artists and stuff on social media, and even then you still might not see it.
Yeah. And to be fair, let me be fair here, because I know there might be some people that, oh man, that Division's fire. A lot of my time went dedicated toward the Drake and 21 Savage. So I kind of skimmed through that album, but just off the initial listen, I was like, again, a lot of the songs I've already heard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, for some reason, it just kind of ruins my listening experience.
No, I feel you.
When I'm listening to an album, I'm expecting new songs.
And I'm hoping that does not happen with Chloe Bailey's album, because she has put out so many singles. Like, please don't put an album out and it's all the damn songs that you already put out as singles. You gonna damn near have to put out 18 songs at this point, because she got hella singles.
Yeah. So I don't want to, you know what? I don't even want to even judge them, because I didn't give them a fair listen. And I'm just going to be honest. I didn't give them a fair, because usually I already told you guys what my routine is. I listen at work, I listen in the car, then I listen here at home on the big speakers. I got to hear it in different.
Ask Tyson. I was like, I know you tired, but I listen to Drake and 21 Savage on the speaker at 10 o'clock at night had it blasting all the way up because I'm like, I want to hear it.
You have to hear it on the
and
yeah.
I listened to it a good at least 3 times through, and I know he was irritated with me.
Yeah,
but I did listen to it. Like for the DVSN, I will say standout track was "What's Up." That was my favorite one with Jagged Edge. I love the "Take It Slow" song with the John Legend.
That was a dope song.
Take it slow. I'm like, okay, I like that, and then I like Bring It. I like Bring It too.
Yeah.
It got some good tracks. I definitely will give it another listen. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of his voice, but I'm trying to give newer R&B more of a chance, especially newer male R&B a chance, because I have a hard time getting into the guys for some reason. The girls is holding it down.
Yeah. I can't judge unfairly. Because if I listen to all those albums on I just have my routine. So I'll give you guys my review next show.
Well, I will give you mine, and it is a bop.
It's a bop.
It's a bop for me.
I trust your musical expertise. So I'm pretty sure. Again, all of the rest of their music, I loved all the rest of their other music.
And for me, I always base it on will I listen again, and I definitely feel like I will listen again. Like all the albums that we said was a bop. There's still Money Long still in rotation, Babyface in rotation.
Babyface, absolutely.
Everything that we've talked about, Ari still in rotation. Like remember when I said Tomorrow Too, I don't see. Other than the fact that it be coming on places I'm at, but I ain't put that Tomorrow 2 on. No, I ain't gonna listen to it again.
Yeah. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So cool. I like this segment because, like I said, it helps me be in tune with the music, which I always listen to new music on Fridays anyway. So it was nice.
It gets me listening to things that I probably wouldn't know.
Yes, because Tomorrow 2, I would have never listened to that.
You see what I'm saying?
And honestly, again, I'm not a big fan of 21 Savage. It actually opened me up because they were saying, "Oh, he's the best rapper from London." I'm like, what? And I'm like, I listen. I'm like,
But speaking on that album, let me go back. So on Drake's album, he always got like a 6 a.m. or 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
That 3 a.m. on Glenwood, whatever. I expected it to be Drake when I first seen it. I was like, Drake always spit on that, and it was 21 Savage song.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed.
But he did. He did slide. He did.
Okay.
I had to go back and give it another chance. So at first, I was like, skip.
Only thing about 21 Savage is anytime I hear him now, I remember back when all that stuff was going on in Atlanta. He was like, "We got to stop the violence." And then people was like, "Ain't you the same dude that be talking about sticks and guns and killing people on your record?" And he said, "Oh, it's just for entertainment." So I'm like, "Nigga, I can't ride with you, bro."
And on that one, I think was it Circo Loco? I don't know what song it was, but Drake came on. It was like 21 got a new stick and he trying to get it.
Yeah,
dirty.
I'm like.
All the rest, still same shit.
And I will always remember when he was with Amber Rose.
He was. See,
yep, and he was super sensitive, hella supportive of her slut walk. So I'm like, nah, bruh.
I don't remember that.
I'm like, nah, bruh.
Weak.
Nah, bruh. It just don't add up in my brain.
So like, basically, he just don't really match up to.
He ain't about that life.
Okay.
No. To the point where niggas didn't even know he was even like it was like a secret he was not from here. He was from London because then he got caught and I think he got arrested or something like that.
And
then they were saying that he may be deported. So I'm like, deported? I'm like, bro, you be repping Atlanta. I'm like, and then you're like, nah, he's from London.
You seen it was trending that people was just finding out that Slick Rick wasn't from here.
I did not know that.
And people was like, he raps in an accent, and I was like, he really do. Once upon a time, he do.
I don't know. I couldn't. If nobody would have told me, I would have never known. I would have never known. I would have never guessed it. So I just thought that was just his cadence, but I don't know.
Right. I thought it was his cadence. But I'm like, when I listened, I was like, dang, we stupid. We stupid as hell.
I don't know. But yeah, so those were the Issa Bops. Hopefully y'all listen to. Hopefully you guys get something from this so that way you guys listen to music that you guys would not normally listen to as well. Let us know if we got it wrong. Let us know if there's any other songs that we should go check out. Or you can actually send us songs that we can review or albums that projects that we can review, and we will actually do that. Or if you are a local artist, we'll actually review your songs and stuff too.
Yep.
If it's good.
And we're going to be honest though.
And if it's bad, it's bad, and I will tell you. So, yeah. All right, I think we're good.
All right.
That was a good show. Check out Perspectives.
Yes.
Subscribe, like, get us to 1,000 subscribers and get us to 1,000 followers on Instagram because we blowing up.
We
so we gonna let y'all go. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Peace and love. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Take off, man. But we love y'all. We appreciate everybody that's helped us grow. And we will see y'all in 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Actually, we may not have a Thanksgiving. We'll let y'all know. But we out.